speaking of the Nile, when I was doing my undergraduate, we were learning about bull sharks. And bull sharks are one of the more dangerous sharks that exists. And one crazy thing about bull sharks is they can transition from freshwater, or from saltwater to freshwater. And so they actually show up in the Nile River and in the Mississippi. And my teacher was, my professor, he was commenting that they surprise people in the Nile. And so, you know, people get attacked in the Nile and they think that everything's fine. And I'm thinking, why? Why would you be in the Nile River and think everything is fine? I mean, this is one of the least scary things that you would find in the Nile River. There are Nile crocodiles and hippos. Yes, a bull shark might attack you as well, but if you're just willy-nilly in the Nile River, there's something wrong with you anyway.
Tell me how you really feel about the Nile monitor.
Okay, Jason.
Because, I mean,
you feel like I sugar-coated it too much?
You put up a front, you know, and you're just like, I'm a tough guy, I can handle it.
Yeah, okay, I'll give you my actual my actual feelings about the Nile monitor. It's probably my favorite monitor. I love them. I really wish they were all like this. If they were all like this, oh man, I'd want one so bad. I still wouldn't buy one, just because I can't afford to have one. I don't have the space for it, I don't have the resources to support it. But if this was the personality of every Nile monitor, I would have one on my dreams list. However, they're real bad. They're so aggressive. And, you know, if you had a monitor the size of an Ackie that was as aggressive as a Nile monitor, I would say that's not a very good pet reptile. But, you know, it's cool to watch in its enclosure. But when you've got a monitor this size that's that aggressive, oh boy, that is a bad combination of attributes. That is just real bad. So hopefully I haven't sugar-coated it too much. Do not buy a Nile monitor for anything, please. Just a little backstory on Norbert is that Norbert was found wandering the streets of Las Vegas, and that is not uncommon for Nile monitors, because people buy really, I mean, if you go to a reptile expo and you want to pick out the coolest looking lizard at the whole expo and it's only $50, it's probably a Nile monitor. I mean, they're beautiful adults. They're even more beautiful as babies, and they're just ridiculously cool looking, and it's $50, so why the heck not? And then it gets to be 2, 3, 4 feet long, and you're probably keeping it in a 40-gallon enclosure, because who's going to spend $10,000 on the enclosure for a $50 lizard? Nobody. Oh, and it hates you, and it tries to tear your face off every day. And you decide this is the worst. We do have a whole video on what to do if you ever find yourself in this situation. Please check it out. Because, I mean, we just made this video, right? You already could be in this situation with a Nile monitor. But the worst thing that anyone can do is release it into the wild for one of two reasons. One of them being it will probably die. So you're just killing it, you're just not having to watch it die. And that's not fair to the animal. But something worse could happen, which is that it might live. And that's what we've got going on in especially the Florida Everglades, because everything can live in the Florida Everglades. And so people release these animals, and guess how they do there? Spectacularly. They do so well. And so a lot of these animals end up released into the wild because they're horrendous pets, and 30 of them are getting sold at reptile expos, and that is such a mess. I'm so glad that you've tuned in. I hope that you've done it before you've purchased a Nile monitor, because I honestly have a very short list of reptiles that can be successfully kept in captivity that are worse than this. I would totally recommend a gaboon viper over this, or a small crocodile. It's ridiculous. Not a cobra, though. I recommend this over a cobra. Or a mamba.
Someday you should put...
Yeah, and saltwater crocodile, worse. Green anaconda,
it's like a 5-year...
comparable. Okay? Just FYI. Alligator, better.
Okay. You good?
I don't know.
I don't.
Lion, worse. Bear, better depending on the type of bear.
What do you feel about the pet shops and the breeders and such that sell them for so cheap to unassuming consumers at the expos?
That is a great and awful question.
Yeah, it's kind of loaded.
Yeah, I hate it. At the Wasatch Reptile Expo, I support every single vendor except one. And it is the one with a single box with 25 Nile monitors in it. I would my thing is like I'm very libertarian, right? I don't want there to be laws against it unless it's to protect the wild populations. But because I think you should be allowed to do stupid things. And there are people who could get a Nile monitor, and I would think there would be better pet reptiles they could get for their money, but it wouldn't be stupid for them. They could handle it, and they should be allowed to do so. But I think when you walk by a booth and it's got 25 Nile monitors in it, you should not spend money at that booth for anything, on anything. You should vote with your dollars, right? And promote good business practices. And bringing in droves of import Nile monitors so they can die and be sold to kids and released into the wild, that is really crummy practice. And we shouldn't support that. Don't support it. Sucks.